Hey, welcome back to the podcast. I've got three rock stars in the room, and we are talking sales, engineering, and engineering growth. And you might be saying, but wait a minute, Tom, the market's a little interesting right now. That's exactly why we need to be talking about engineering growth. To help us do it, Mark Pattison, give a little introduction. Tell them who you are, where you're from. Give us a scoop. Did I add an R in the last name? Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pattison.
Yes.
So if you're looking it up online for a referral.
Exactly.
Porchlight. So my team is called Porchlight.
No editing, by the way, in this show. Sorry.
Yeah, we're San Diego, California. We've been around for 5 years, and we're going to do $750 million this year. Goal is maybe $1 billion, but I don't know if there's $1 billion in homes to sell. So we're going to go out there and try to find more homes. But yeah, I've got 74 agents on my team right now. Definitely looking to grow, adding some people to make that happen.
And give people context in how many locations?
Right now, my main focus is Southern California, but we have a team in Texas. We got a team in Florida. We have a team in Nevada, Northern California. I think that's all. Yeah, Arizona as well. But those are kind of like my ancillary businesses that all feed into one.
Correct.
Yeah, but my main focus, just my team, is going to do $750 million in San Diego.
Yeah. Love it. Just want to give people context. So 74 sales agents in San Diego, and San Diego's a big county, right? So are they all across the county?
Yes. Yeah. We have two offices, Carlsbad, which is our furthest north.
Yep.
And then we have North Park, which is about 10 minutes to the border. So yeah, big county, 3 million people.
Lots of coverage. And you're exactly right. I was talking to Maxine Gellens and Marty just a couple minutes ago, and literally they're like, if we just had a little more inventory, but that's why we're talking sales engineering here. So Linz, why don't you, for you and DJ, explain the business, how big is it today? And then let's get into like the sausage making. You're gonna hit me later for adding the R. I apologize.
I was like, I thought something else there.
Okay, so by the way, if you're listening, this is going to definitely be a fun show. Sausage making is the way
casings and
so people will say to me like, let's get into the details. And to me, it's like some people are like, no, just give me the sausage, and some people are like, tell me exactly the elements and how you put it all. And this needs to be one of those. Like, we're going to talk recruiting. How do you get sales agents to convert faster? ISA's KPIs and standards. We're going to talk about lead flow outbound and lead flow inbound, right? And how do you do all of that stuff? That's the sausage making in business.
Right.
So tell them about your business.
Gosh, so probably have a team of about 80 agents now, maybe 140 in the whole brokerage, but just focusing on the team for right now. We did $1 billion last year. So I don't know, DJ, what are we going to do this year?
Yeah, we'll do $1 billion again, just over that. We'll do about 3,200 transactions, and we've been recruiting a ton, and obviously with the market, the inventory that we were just talking about, just kind of resetting some of those goals and realigning what we're trying to do. So. But we're going to crush.
Yeah. Ready for the new norm. So it's interesting talking to all the CEOs that I talk with, and you know, you guys are all CEOs of your empires. Everybody's talking about the same stuff. Okay, I need to get back to basics. I need to recruit more talented people. I need to possibly let go of some people that are just not willing to do the work. Is this a discussion? Okay, so we're already in this discussion. This is good.
It's trimming the fat for the sausage.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe the sausage metaphor was the wrong metaphor for today. I'm just saying some hashtag sausage. Just do me a favor, leave a comment right now if you're watching or listening, and let me know if the sausage metaphor lands for you, the making of the sausage. So let's talk recruiting first. Right. So what's working right now on a granular level for recruiting? What's working?
We focus on a lot of, hand-to-hand combat. We're make it very well known in our market that we are always hiring. We're always hiring the right people, and we focus on doing that by, aligning ourselves and, in our ads campaign. Do a lot of Google, Indeed.
A lot of calls.
A lot of phone calls to the agents.
Are you guys going
licensed and newly licensed?
Are you going like top of funnel with you name all the different companies that provide top of the funnel people that just took their license?
Of course.
All right, so
we go after both of them.
Okay.
And so, I mean, if you're a brand new agent right now, it is definitely harder than ever.
Sure.
But I mean, if you're a hustler and a go-getter, like we will bring you on and you will be successful if you just follow the sausage recipe, right? So just follow the recipe and you'll be successful. So, but we do have to kind of weed through a lot of people to make sure they are a really good fix. This market is challenging.
Tough because there was a point in time, not so long ago, and I think the ability 6 months ago, the ability to pivot for where the market is now has greatly helped us, and because we have the right people going on the right appointments, and because there's less homes to sell, we need to make sure we're capitalizing on every appointment.
So like matchmaking becomes super important in a market like this, I think.
So we're going to get into that, which is like the sales engineering side. But what else is working on recruiting? Like, are you guys doing anything different on your Indeed ads? Are there any other companies out there that you're
maybe
using?
just being transparent with the market, kind of like if you can, but I mean, that works in all markets when you're recruiting, but you just want to change your ads so that they can relate to it, right? Like use words like it's challenging, it's hard, right? Like part-time jobs, things like that. It's not, if you can kind of express in writing so their ads are like, whoa, this is exactly what I've been thinking, what I've been feeling, and they get it. That kind of helps.
That sounds like ads for experienced agents, right? Somebody that's 1 to 3 years in the business who's maybe struggling.
Yeah.
Well, we've always for a 1 to 3 year agent, they've come on our team and they've had such massive success.
Yes.
And when the market's good, you don't get as many, they're comfortable. They have some deal flow. The sense of abundance is there. Now that it's starting to trend back a little bit, some of the conversations that we're having with some really good agents, it's starting to change because look, we have, I know we'll talk about it later. We have a massive lead flow that comes in.
Yep.
And because of that, they're able to actually have a, what's the word?
Like a stable
business.
Like consistent income, stability in their,
So we're starting to see a lot of that. So we have really started targeting more of the experienced agents at this point because, those people know how to get the deals done. Maybe
they just need the opportunities.
But just need,
Give me more at bats.
Yes.
Do you have a model match for who you're looking to hire? Like, do you have like a archetype or whatever it may be?
Yeah, we definitely have a we go and look and say this is our our avatar of who we want to hire. The problem what we did was we were hiring because we were thinking growth was the answer. Growth is not the answer. Getting the right people is the answer.
Right.
And through it, I mean, we find that for every 10 that apply, 1 will maybe hire. And from that 1, 50% now we're showing as rock stars, and then maybe like 20% of them even just drop off our team.
Sure.
So it's natural to realize and it kind of hurts. Like that's what Lindsey and I were talking about at lunch is like the emotional side of us, like it hurts because we give so much to our agents and then they leave or we fire them and we're just like, man, we pour into these people over and over again. And I don't think they realize how much what we've provided them. They don't realize how good it is.
Did any of you read the Netflix article that just came out last week in Bloomberg?
No.
So
we spoke about this yesterday.
We talked about it on the golf course. So check this out. Netflix, which has always been a very family oriented with the way they would describe it, right? Like many of us, we love you, we want you to succeed,
company.
We want you to be a part of this, right? So they just came out and they basically said, look, if you don't like the content that we're putting out because some comedian said something you don't like, you should leave. And they're like, and oh, by the way, we're switching our culture from this is not a family business, right? We are a massive global enterprise, and we now see our business a little more like an NBA team. So if you perform, you're going to start. And if you don't, you're going to be on the bench. And when you come off the bench and you don't perform, you're probably going to get cut.
Right.
Like that was I was like, I'm reading it and I'm going, Netflix
You're
just
like
said
popcorn.
this?
Yeah.
Right. I was like, wow, maybe the pit and the pendulum is swinging the other direction. But I say that because we've all been there. People leave and we get emotionally attached, but you can't stop recruiting.
Right.
And you got to look at the math and say, Steve Rovey Holmes, right? Steve Rovey, I can never say his last name. I love you, Steve. Yes, thank you, right? Steve and I were just doing a show and he's like, 3 out of 10 make it.
Yeah.
Right, that's
hard.
it. 3 out of 10.
It's hard.
And you need to know.
And 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 interview really, really well. And you're like, oh, you're going to crush it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh man, you're lying to yourself.
But office is not about the cool chairs anymore. You still got to have the cool office chairs
Right.
to recruit the talent, but it's no longer the Google Office Center. It's the like, hey, the ones that are going to perform are going to stay, and the ones that aren't, we're going to either kick off or you're going to leave.
But through that too, you also now get your agents that are rock stars. They love surrounding themselves with really great people.
A
so now
players want to be around A players.
Yeah, iron sharpens iron, and now they're getting better. They're actually like, oh wait, that was a great objection that you just did on the phone in there, and like I'm gonna steal that. When you hear people that are doing 50, 75 deals and they're saying that, that's when the culture just automatically lifts up. So it's pretty
Whether
cool.
it's on a Zoom role play or an in-office role play. So then the question is, so let's all be hyper tactical. You mentioned all these ads, but it wasn't clear. Like, so what ad is performing? What is performing to get those 10 or 15 or 20 opportunities so I can hire 2 or 3?
Our biggest thing has been for us, social media. We're finding the people that are on our team that are knowing that they're recruiting to get people onto our team. So if you can give an incentive to your agents or however to get their friends, whomever's getting licensed, that's been our number one, because the people that are recruiting from our team are recruiting people like them.
Right.
And that's our culture.
So it's team social. Is that a controlled page?
No, like say you're on my team,
okay.
which we do have opportunities. So if you want to be an agent, you can
always be recruiting ABR.
But like that right there is the people that are on our team are recruiting. So the people that are applying to our team are from, most of them come from our agents. We have Wise Hire ads, Indeed, all of that.
Sure.
We find that that's not necessarily
You get
always
a few.
the right.
Yeah.
You get a couple, but nowhere near what we get from just organic from our team.
Right.
That means everywhere you're posting, hey, we're hiring, and post about. I mean, if you look at my real estate site for my team, it's Porchside Realty on Instagram. It's all about the people.
Yes.
It's not about the houses, because for me, my client is my agent.
Yes.
Right.
My agent to me is worth X.
Right.
Getting a real estate sale from that, I don't need more real estate sales. The real estate sales I've got through my partnerships.
Yeah.
I need more agents.
Right.
So my social media is to get more agents.
Yeah, and
what
just to
ours
be tactic, very specific. We have 5 recruiters that again they're held to KPIs. They're making calls every day. Appointments are set. Everything's tracked. But the ads are kind of like that. And you know me, I'm all about branding.
Yep.
So if you have the social media that's always talking about we're hiring, our emails, that go out through the
But
marketplace.
not just that we're hiring, but we're hiring and our agents are successful here, right?
I was gonna say,
you
and we're
have to
posting that about them.
Make this much money,
Yep.
sell this many homes.
It's the proof
right?
of success that I
Right.
see over and over again on your Instagram pages. That's where you're like,
Or sharing
wow,
the
this gal's
success
killing it.
of our agents, right? So we do a
Exactly.
lot of those ads too, where it's like, hi, like here's this agent and they've already sold 19 houses this year.
Yeah, we have
right?
somebody 60 days in, 15 pending. Like that's incredible.
So I think for the person listening right now, if you've got a small team or you're a manager and you're recruiting, I think one of the big mistakes that we see is, and we all got this a couple years ago, that like I'm going to run ads and I'm going to make sure I've got a catch card to make sure every lead gets talked to, that there's a process, that there's a script, there's a program we run them through. I think most traditional recruiters, what happens is they're like, hey, put the word out, like, hey, we've got room in the office. And then there is no process behind it. Clearly, the 3 of you, there's a lot of process.
Well, there's process, but I think you brought up something earlier that like they can't figure out how these teams are recruiting and do what we're doing. And obviously no digs to anybody, but you have to be able to offer something different.
True.
And I think a lot of people that are recruiting, they're like, oh, I'm going to get your spear going. I'm going to do this, and that. But then you have people like us and Mark that have all of these great partnerships that are able to now say, I'm going to give you literally every tech stack, every lead, everything that you need that you don't.
Where customers are calling in because they want to work with our team to help them sell their house or buy a house.
So be different. And, with that, obviously, brokerages and other
offer
teams.
Insane value.
Yeah, we just offer more value than anyone else.
Yeah.
So now we're able to pick up the phone, call you, and say, Tom, I'm going to give you all the marketing you need, all the leads you need, all of the tech you need. All I need you to do is commit to me that you're willing to do the work. And if you're willing to do that, we're going to have a great few years or 10 years, whatever it is.
Yeah. Okay, so check on recruiting. Let's talk about how to help salespeople sell homes faster, right? Whether they're coming in as a veteran, like veteran 3, 5, 10 years, whatever it may be, or someone brand new. So talk to me about the sausage making. Like what program do you put new agents on for the first 90 days to ensure that they succeed?
So we do everything through Teachable and Kajabi. So just online portal, because you never want to have those questions. Do you have a minute?
Yeah.
No, I don't have a minute.
Right.
I have negative 300 hours.
He almost said no to this podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Didn't even know I was going to be on here 2 seconds ago.
None of us did.
Yeah. The biggest thing is making sure that you have everything, anything that you ever get a question for, document it.
Yep.
You don't have to pay for something. If you are starting your team out, you don't have to have all these systems.
No.
Because more expenses does not equal more money. It's an awful thing. So make sure you just document it, put it into Google Drive, whatever. But any question, how to write an offer, how to cancel a contract, how to do a request for repairs, document everything, put it into a university. And then from there, you're going to put those people. So for our team, we put them in first 30 days, they have to go through the university. There's 190 modules. They have to get through everything. They have to write 5 sample offers. They have to do 5 buyer consults via video with the sales manager on my team. And they have to pass a 150 question quiz that's going to be everything real estate. I don't even know if I could pass it. So
I Googled. I have the answers.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
actually on Google now. I'm
that's how
kidding.
that's how I'm doing my continuing education right now.
Excellent.
But and then from there, then they're introduced to a mentor. We don't want to give our new agents a mentor right away because we don't want our mentors to be bogged down. Our mentors are our best agents on our team.
Right.
They don't want to get bogged down with simple questions. The university should be their go-to resource. So we do that. Everything is documented. People say, well, how long did it take you to build out? When were you done with it? It's never done.
So you're always building.
Because California
Deleting,
changes
adding.
the contracts and then I
Thank
have
you.
to
was just gonna
relearn them.
say,
And
exactly. It goes from 190 to 198, back down to 173.
Yes,
It's just
there's
as
always
everything
modules
adjusts.
constantly. It's
So
never.
that's their first 30 days. They're
That's
running
their
through
first
that?
30 days,
Yeah.
but it's also a university that they can go back to. So we call it undergrad.
Right.
And then master's is like getting your listing certificate and becoming a 1031 specialist and
Yeah.
becoming this.
Right.
That's when you get your master's in different degrees. So we called it Porchlight University.
That's
Smart.
awesome.
Smart.
Yeah, it's all about the education. If you think about the top brands, think about how long they make people to even step on a sales floor or
Right.
go out, like Disney, Louis Vuitton. Like you can joke about Louis Vuitton, but they're charging $5,000 for a handbag,
Right.
and you have to go through X amount of training before you can even go. And they have a 17-step sales process and
Yeah.
copy them.
And I have
Professionals.
And I have a
Yeah.
very different opinion about that, which is I think is great for the
Yeah,
consumer
yeah.
because my thought we have Trainual.
Yeah.
Can you are you
Yes.
good with that now?
Shocker.
I'm totally good with that.
No, mess with it. It's
I
like
can't say
Trainual,
it. Right.
but,
I know. We were looking the other day.
Tech stack.
But we
Yes.
do all of that. We bring them on. They have to do, a role playing call to make sure they know the script that we provide. So all of our mentors are actually not in production anymore. So we definitely throw them in, and they're going through all of the training in the
They're
university.
like sales managers.
Sales managers,
right?
yes.
But I mean,
but
our
don't you
training,
have-
it's the same thing. We have the same
Yeah.
university, but they pretty much get through that in the first 4 days.
4 days.
You have Mark on video repeatedly saying, "Let me explain a 1031 exchange."
Yes.
but
R&D.
because here's my thought:
Like
is
they need to know the script. They
Of
need to know how to
course.
work the system.
you
Of
have to go
course.
on showings with three. There's a whole different listing team, so they're not eligible for listings until they're through mentorship, and but because real estate is commission based only, I would argue that I don't know that a lot of agents have the time, the 30, 60, 90 days to not go without income. So my theory is like, all right, how can I get them up and going really quick? So we
Let's
set
push them in and hold their hand.
But I'm also
Yeah.
very protective of the brand because hey, we have the most reviews in the market. I want to keep our partnership. So a review to me is more important
Better
than
than
a
money.
commission.
Yep.
So we make sure that every contract that comes, they have to do sample contracts to get through. But then when they actually meet you at a house and they write the contract, it goes through our sales managers.
Yes.
Our mentors. And our mentors right now, we'll sell 3,200 homes. They'll probably have to review 9,000 contracts this year.
Right.
Just that knowledge of what they see and how to win offers. They're seeing so many, they know how to win. So they're actually making sure the math's right, making sure everything's right, making sure that the company is, before it goes out to their customer
That it
for
looks perfect
signature,
and
that it's
professional.
perfect. And they role play with them. How are we going to pitch this offer? So we're very
Methodical.
about making sure. And again, if you're a small team out there, you're like, how do I get there? It's just one building block at a time. We start.
You are the mentor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were.
Yeah.
It
We
was
were the
me, and then
mentors.
it was me.
Building blocks.
That's it. It was
Yeah.
Brittany, and then we
Yep.
added Brett, and so it just quickly elevates. But
So training first, 30 days, 190 modules. You guys are like training,
3 days.
but let's get you on the phone.
Yeah.
Our
Let's
agents
get
are
you showing
doing. Our agents are
houses.
calling right away. So
Yeah.
our agents are.
Because
but
I'm saying they weren't sitting around just watching
No.
190 videos.
They have
No.
to do 2,000 dials their first month. If they don't complete the 190 modules or the 2,000 dials, that shows me how dedicated they are to my
Right.
team. So then see you later.
yeah,
Right.
So they are dialing and they are getting. There are people, but it's rare in California that you get something under contract that soon.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only thing is it usually takes about 2 months, 3 months.
Well, like if you look at like the typical lag time on like a Zillow or RDC, it's 72 days, right? It's in that range.
Yeah.
Are you finding anything different? I mean, we got California and Florida here.
We have typically our
It's
agents.
hard because a lot of our marketing is like really geared towards receiving a lot of phone calls too. So that's
Sure.
always a better lead when someone's calling us saying,
Yes.
I want to buy this property.
Yeah.
I want to sell my home. So
Yeah.
we're seeing that shortened
The
up
majority of
quite a
our
bit.
agents, I would say 85% of the agents that actually come in, do the training, listen to the mentors, they're writing a contract within their first 2 weeks.
That's pretty bananas.
Yeah, ours would be like first 45 days.
So those
Do you-
go
okay,
back
but
to our recruiting ads. It would be like that. Boom.
So do you
Yeah.
think I'm like really fixated on the word perspective. And it's funny, like you think about perspective, like the way I heard it recently that really resonated for me. The guy said, you walk by somebody and you look at their laptop and they're on like Windows 95. You'd be like, What? Right? You'd
Right.
be like, and yet he said, and yet people still walk around today
Yes.
with a perspective that was created in 1995 that they've been unwilling to say, what's the new perspective? Like, how does it work today? So we say the California perspective is it takes 2 months. And they're like, the Florida perspective is it takes 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a right or wrong.
No.
So it's like the 4-minute mile or whatever.
Exactly.
Same thing. Like you just
Right.
we're
So-
your
so
glass
maybe
ceiling.
there's a
We
new-
shattered it for you.
Yeah,
Shorten
no,
it up.
no, exactly. Well, that's what happened with ours.
You're welcome, Mark.
My team was the first team to sell 500 houses in San Diego County in 1 year.
Yeah.
So,
Bang.
and we did
Bang.
almost 800. So
Yes.
that is there, but
Right.
it is like an aspect of one, we don't have enough houses.
Right.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Nowhere is there enough houses.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Staying on this sort of how do we help our salespeople be more effective? One of the obvious trends we see amongst these mega teams, all of you included, is that most of the people that are on the teams are under 3 years in the business.
Yes.
So they know the challenging market, not enough inventory. They've got enough lead flow coming in. So it's writing offers to get accepted, it's all that stuff. But now all of a sudden, rates are at 5.25%. And they were like, rates are going to go up at 2.65 and at 3, they said, and rates are going to go up.
Yeah.
And rates went like this, 3.25, 5,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Like we just missed the 4s.
Yep.
What are you teaching and holding people to or encouraging people differently today on the financial engineering side of buying a house?
We have Financial Fridays. So every Friday,
Financial Fridays.
8:30 a.m., 8:30 to 9. So every day of the week we do a huddle. But 8:30 to 9 on Fridays, we do Financial Fridays. And whether a lender's coming on or myself, we're talking to our new agents because if they are 1 to 3 years in the business,
Right.
they don't know what an ARM loan is.
Right.
They don't know what adjustable
Yes.
rate even means.
Right.
So, and it's us educating them so that we can then educate our clients because there are options out there for our
Yep.
clients.
Yep.
And adjustable rate mortgage isn't necessarily a bad thing if you're putting them in the right program. So having a lender that you're partnered with, it's all about education in my aspect.
Yes.
Like educate to your agents so that we can provide our clients the best service.
Right.
And that's what's going to get our clients to get these homes.
How fast, and I'm assuming the same thing, and so I want to bounce between all three of you. How fast between let me explain this ARM product to agent then presenting it and having a buyer say, oh my goodness, that's a good idea?
I mean, it's just options, especially right now because the interest rates did change so quickly.
Yep.
Saying, hey, at this rate here, this is the home you can afford. There are
Right.
no homes at that price point.
Right.
So therefore, here's another option. And actually, my team leader is doing this. Use examples of what you had. The best thing I think is selling through storytelling.
Yes.
So all of our agents on the huddles, they share stories of situations that they've gone through. So then we can, because new agents may not have that story.
They can borrow a story.
Exactly. So
Right.
a lot of our stories are shared. We have stories of like the guy who bought the motorcycle and the guy or the time when I walked in. These are all my stories. These are 6 years old.
Yes.
But they still work.
Yes.
So,
Metaphors.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
to be able to
Case
explain
studies.
because people listen to stories and it's more relatable. And then you've got their back to the client, which we do. So it's helping them understand how can we help you get to that next step through the ARM loan, through whatever financing. Because people may hear that and then they talk to their parents and their parents are like, oh no,
No,
do
stay
not do that.
away.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably the most classic example today with the millennial buyer. Like, like I know your parents are telling you this, right? Whether it's an ARM loan or son, make sure you negotiate the deal. Mom, Dad, you haven't bought a house in 30 years.
Right.
Yeah, don't
It's a
pay full
little
price.
different.
Yeah, there is no negotiation right
Like
now.
I definitely would never pay full price. I'm paying 150 over ask.
Right.
But
so
I think
what
they're
else?
also a little bit more realistic to this generation in a way that they
Definitely
are
more
willing.
financially savvy.
Yeah, like
I
more
think
willing.
they're reading more too.
Yeah,
they're
they're
reading
reading
articles,
more.
and so
Yep.
they get it faster
Yeah.
rather
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
Well, and if they search somewhere, they're getting retargeted on everything,
Right.
so they're gonna
Right.
it's gonna keep popping up. And this
Yep.
is what I'm telling my agents. I'm like, look, if they're getting cookied and they're gonna see every article that comes out about interest rates, you better know as well
Right.
everything that's going on. But I also think that they're okay with maybe stepping down 50, 75, 100,000. I've been seeing that a ton. And, just maybe realigning their vision of what they thought they were going to buy and actually what they're actually going to buy. Because
and how
we're
it's better than renting.
sure. And we're fortunate in our market to have a lot of new construction. So, they're working well with, buy downs of rates and different things to
We're making it
incentivize.
happen for
Yeah.
sure.
So before we started the show, we were talking about writing offers. And I think one of the easy ways, not easy, I don't think anything is easy. One of the ways to help engineer sales is to getting your agents to write better offers, which
Yes.
means you need a backstop,
Yes.
some guardrails versus just the free for all.
Yeah.
So what's working now from leading a sales team like this to write more effective offers from a guardrail, make sure that the experience is right.
I mean, the mentor
right.
is involved immediately, basically, like the agent, the newer agent, especially, and even some agents that have been in the business 1, 2, 3 years or 10 years, right? I mean, they could use like a new perspective sometimes.
Right.
We get those offers on our listings.
Yeah. But
You're like,
the
wow,
mentors,
nice offer.
Yeah, they're really stepping in immediately, my agent saying, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith really want to buy this house. Mentors immediately involved, right?
Yep.
Let's analyze everything. What's it listed at? How many, days? Is there multiple offers? Are we competing? Like, what can we do to make the offer more attractive? Let's put together a whole beautiful package. Let's make sure the agent on the other side knows it's going to be the easiest, most beautiful process ever to work with us. Like, let's make sure we win. And so they are like surgeons of, contracts. I mean, they are, our mentors are.
Like I said, they're seeing so many. Like I've been in the business almost 17 years. It's like,
I mean, because we deal with so many buyers, right? We know how to structure a winning deal.
Tell me how to
you
work
have
this
an
out.
edge.
So
Like
many.
100%, our mentors have an edge on the market.
So what do you say to the small team that maybe the agent, it's not a knock on them, but they're hustling right now. They're busy, like crushing as many deals as they can, which is great because it's driving revenue for them.
Yeah.
And then they're frustrated because maybe their agents don't really know how to write offers, and then they're losing too often.
Well, anytime you're frustrated, if you're pointing a finger at someone, you're pointing 3 fingers back at yourself.
Yes.
So it all comes back to you. So if you hired the wrong person, you hired the wrong person. It's you.
Right.
Biggest thing is that templates, make sure everything's a template and make sure everything's a video.
Right.
If you don't have that,
Screen
that's your fault.
shares.
It takes 10 minutes to make a video.
Right.
That'll save you how many hours? So just do the damn video because if
Like record your screen.
yes, like right now, record stuff. Especially if you're going to lead a huddle or something in the morning. Maybe you don't record all 30 minutes. Record the 5 minutes that you talk about X topic.
Sure.
Yeah.
Save that topic in there. Have
Forever.
a virtual assistant upload it to your drive, and then it's done.
Okay, go ahead.
And I would love the opinion of this, but I definitely think the smaller team with the agents in production, they're going to stay in production, because
The team leader has to stay in
they're going to
production.
stay in production. And what I think is going to happen is I think more smaller teams maybe fold into bigger teams because of, they're
much
like, hey, I
support.
really like selling.
Right.
I need the support.
I
We
need
have
the
great
training,
agents,
like train
so-
up my agents for me because I'm out there.
So I don't know what you guys think, but I definitely think that might be, coming in the next several months, years, because it is getting harder. There's going to be less transactions.
Don't be shocked by whoever controls the lead flow and who has the core services and who has the best setup, training,
Process.
optimization. People have figured out like it used to only be about splits. And for a percentage of the agents, it'll always
For sure.
just be about splits. But a lot of that is changing right now.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
People
there's
are
so many
realizing-
people that
Yeah.
love this industry and they
Right.
love sales and they love
Right.
helping buyers and sellers. And if you truly love that, go somewhere where you can do that a lot, right? Because
Right.
then you can build more relationships. Your
Right.
SOI instantly
Right.
grows when you can
Right.
sell 50 houses your first year,
Yes.
right? Like your
Yes.
your
Yeah.
second year is going to be bananas, right? But if you're,
Hashtag.
if you're only,
Bananas.
but if you're struggling in this market and you only have like one closing so far this year, like
Right.
that's going to be really hard to build this crazy, SOI for the next couple of years if you only have 1, 2, 3
Yeah.
closings a year, right?
Yeah.
Go somewhere and skyrocket it. That's
Yeah.
the cheat code.
Yeah. I
It's like-
agree. We're seeing that. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's kind of like department stores. If you think about it, it's
Yeah.
like you can go in and put in like your little boutique in a mall, or you could just like pop into a department store and have your, maybe if you're a new brand or
Yep.
something and you want to have it there, and then you have access to all those clients. We've got the clients.
It's an arbitrage.
Yeah. And we've got everything there. It's like a
But it's
one-stop
like the
shop.
clients on top of all these beautiful, different departments that are working together to make the process for the consumer ultimately to be flawless.
Well, and how easy is it when, you've got your ancillaries and you have people saying, hey, so-and-so's checking out HomeBot, just so you know, your client's coming back to there to look for to buy, check out rates on their
home.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like what
we
the
send-
value is.
And we send our customer base, we send them coming soon videos before they hit the market because it's allowed.
Yeah.
And we have somebody that does that for them. Imagine being able to scale your business just through a team like that. Being able, like somebody's sending that out on your behalf. Somebody is coordinating your transactions.
Right.
Somebody's marketing.
It's crazy to think that you were mentioning like on most of these big, huge mega teams that it's mostly newer agents. And I'm like, gosh, if I was an experienced agent, like right now, like I would love to work for like a DJ or a Lindsey or a Mark, right?
Right.
I'm like, if I had some experience, like, gosh, you could make so much money joining a team.
It's
They
it
don't
usually-
realize.
it usually comes down to ego, pride, control, and for some of them economics, right? Because they've figured out like there's
Sure.
a lot of good agents out there that sell 26, 36, 46 houses a year. And they do it.
And they love that lifestyle.
And they have no assistant.
Yeah.
Yep.
But they are like, if all of you, right, when you two were just the two of you selling 65 homes a year, you're like, you take this side, I'll take that side, let's go, right? Same thing in your first year, right? Then you realize, okay, wait, there's another way. Okay, let's segue though. ISAs, increasing standards or not in a changing market, right? I just hung out with George and we're talking about, okay, so each ISA is basically accountable to 4 closings a month. And then as we do the math, we're like, we probably need that to be 8 now.
I think mine said 10 closed and pending.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. So the question is, for the person that doesn't have an ISA or doesn't understand the ISA, just give them your concept of what ISAs do. And then same thing, and then let's talk about how do we engineer more.
Yeah, so for us, I was kind of anti-ISA because I was never a heavy prospector, so it was hard for me to teach people how to prospect when I never had to.
Right.
It's like I would answer a lead and I would convert them because I would just win them on round 1.
Yeah.
Our ISA really goes in and
You're
really
like, I don't have to follow up. I just get it.
Yes.
I don't follow up. They call me. It's like I don't.
10 leads come in, I have 10 closings.
What does it say? She was like, I don't give them, I just get them. Like it's like I just get leads. They just call me.
Yeah.
No, that was the biggest thing. It was like I could convert people so well. It was hard to, and that's like EQ. That's like understanding people, and you can't teach that.
No.
So I had to find people, especially in ISA, that could follow up and be more meticulous and actually go through all the details. So we've been able to do this, and I found that having 1 or 2 was hard. So now we have 4.
Right.
Makes it a little bit easier because then they can monitor each other, have some competitions within each other. KPIs for us right now is they should call at least 400 to 500 leads a day, and then we have 4 appointments to 5 appointments per agent. Or per ISA, I'm sorry, sent out
per day.
Yeah, per day, and that's what we're monitoring. We're not necessarily monitoring the closings. We do for bonus, but we're more focused on that.
Got it.
And we're still in the model of, our agents are still doing the prospecting.
Same.
So
Well, we kind of we segment the leads a little bit, right?
Zillow,
so the agents are still kind of following up mostly on their own customers, right? That they're maybe a little further out, 3 months out, 6 months out, going to buy at the end of the year, right? We let them keep them
like
and
50
build
to
that
70
relationship.
is like that nice,
But,
nice
we
nest
have
egg of
a
leads
chunk of
that they can
probably
actually-
10,000 leads, that are on automation. And then our ISAs are kind of working that automation and sending appointments to our agents.
Yep.
So it's kind of a combination.
So how are you monitoring then? If each agent has 50 to 75 leads, and we all know the game, like we're all humans, so you have a couple off days. You don't look at your CRM that day. You didn't go inside the office.
The
you
lead
weren't a
won't be
part
in
of
your
it.
system, because it has to kind of follow certain parameters. And so I think that's monitored all
We have
day
3.
long.
We have 3 people that monitor leads to make sure that if somebody raises their hand, they're getting responded to. If that person's busy, we have checks and balances. We have somebody else that's kind of checking that. I always check that. Brittany always checks that.
It's just kind of like a constant thing.
Like there's
So
nothing.
that
There's
an
nothing
agent
more
would never be able
important.
to get away with.
Right.
I had a few off days, and so
Yeah.
I didn't work my system that the lead is now with someone else.
So you have lead coordinators.
Yes.
We have a lead manager for us.
Yeah.
Hannah,
Lead manager.
Hannah on our team. She's a virtual assistant. Her job is just to manage leads.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
just
They
look
have
at the
hand
system
raisers.
and
Yeah.
It's so funny. Everyone will spend like $50,000 a month on leads or 10 grand a month, whatever it is, but they won't spend $2,000 for a lead manager or
Right.
whatever to make sure
to
they're
make sure that your investment is
So-
And where's your VA live?
She is in the Philippines. We have Philippines and we have Nicaragua.
Okay. And then yours are in-house.
In-house.
they're in-house.
Okay. All right. And is there a right or wrong?
no.
No.
I know.
I think what's wrong is buying leads
I think we just
and not
like
following up.
Yeah, I know, but I
Not
think
managing your database.
I
is
think
that would be
wrong.
our
wrong.
strategy was
Yeah.
we just like having them in house because
Yeah.
it's people that are there with energy making calls, and the agents
Right.
get to also kind of hear that, and
Right.
it's just kind of like a cultural thing for
Right.
us. So we
Right.
feel like we get more bang for our buck
Yeah.
if our employees are standing up, walking around, making calls, doing those things,
I
and then
agree.
the agents see it.
I agree. And like energy begets energy, right?
Yeah.
So the more
Obviously,
you
it's
have-
significantly more expensive,
Sure.
but I feel like
especially
we're
in
getting
California.
more.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Okay. So let's close out on the last topic, which is, you've all heard me talk about, like, I believe every great business needs to have a business coming in from their brand, from demand, and then referrals, right?
A UFO.
That is a UFO, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
Perspective.
You heard it
looks
here
like a sun
first.
to me.
Yes. Brand, referrals, and some form of demand gen. And demand gen is inbound and outbound.
Yeah.
Right. And it's funny how many CEOs I talk to that are like in tech services, fintech, prop tech, and they all say, man, we figured out how to get, the phone to ring, people to click on the Facebook ads, Zillow, whatever, everything else, right? They got that. But when they finally get their salespeople making phone calls, that's when the real growth kicks in.
Right. You got to call the leads.
What say all of you? Well, I mean, not just call the leads, but like just call. Like the phone works both ways.
Yeah, just call.
Well, it goes back to the consumer is so educated right now that, you know, automation and different things it's great to get them to the hand raise. But once they raise their hand, they want to talk to somebody because they've deemed it now is the time that they need to talk to somebody. So if you have the salespeople that meets them at that spot and knows what they're talking about, that's when just this crazy growth happens.
Yeah.
Getting us, for us, it's really making sure that we're having any agent that's below. So we labeled all of our agents at different levels because at different levels, you have to treat agents differently, in my opinion. Sure. We have mastery, we have elite, we have core.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah. R&D.
You have legacy?
Any legacy yet?
No, I'm legacy. It's my legacy.
Every coaching client's like,
Yes. And then we have foundation. I used to call them basic, but I was like, that sounds horrible.
No.
So foundation, exactly the same
Where's
way.
all my basic Bs?
I build their business as I say, hey, I'm building your foundation for your house.
I like it.
Which is my leads.
Brick house
Referrals
only.
are the walls, and then the roof is the past clients, et cetera. So I say the same thing, but on core and foundation, they have to do a certain amount of dials. And if they don't, and if they get deals and they close deals, they're no longer in core and foundation, so we don't have to monitor.
Right.
So it's like set up things, and it's, as you can tell from us and what we're talking about, is we have answers to everything. It's like there's a solution, and we follow procedures. And if you're building a team, whether you're 3 agents or 100 agents, start your procedures now and make sure they're set in place.
And please just stick, you know, all teams out there, just stick to your core values of what that is. Our core value is always the consumer. And, you know, we unfortunately sometimes have to let go of agents because they didn't meet that demand or what they wanted, or, you know, they would get upset because their leads would go away. But I'm just like, look, this lead actually responded to us to go see a house on Saturday. You didn't respond for 3 days. Now that's hurting the brand. It's not, you're not meeting the consumer where they are. And I think as that kind of intensifies, and you're going to see.
So if your culture is always based on the consumer's needs, right? You should always win, right? And you're going to win with the right people because they're also saying, that's all I'm focused on, right? So it's never a he said, she said, you guys are mean or something like that. It's just this is what the consumer wanted, and you either did it or you didn't.
And the consumer doesn't care what your split is, so they just want you to show.
They don't care,
and they don't care about your feelings.
No,
right? Like it's the hero's journey, and the only hero in this is the consumer, the buyer, the seller. Right? You build your business around that, you win. Thoughts?
No, I mean, I'm maybe redoing my core values. My core values are great, but I love the core value being the consumer.
That should be the only
consumer
thing.
in the main.
Right. Because if the consumer's happy, right, then you can start having all these other core values, like about team, you know, all those things.
And and then you have to keep the customer happy by, you know, you get rock stars. Like, how do I align them? How do I support them at a higher level so they can do more? You know, and that's the greatest thing. How can I scale now a 50, you know, producer to 75 to 100, and it's definitely doable. And then look, now 100 consumers are getting a 5-star experience from a Rockstar agent, and so it is just like you said, which I couldn't agree more. Our agents are, you know, they're everything, and so are the consumers. So if you have both of those, and they're just so symbiotic that
they're just like consumer first, right?
Yeah.
'Cause if that goes away, none of this matters.
Yeah,
for sure.
It doesn't matter how many tasty snacks we have at the office.
1,000%. I was actually thinking about Paul Rushforth, right, who has Kevin on his team, who's been there 11 years. Kevin, the guy closes like 100 transactions a year.
That's amazing.
But the way he set it up is all he does is work with clients.
Yeah.
And then the back end of the business takes care of everything else.
Yeah.
So whether he's in his RV, you know, cruising from, you know, Ontario down to Florida, and he's still closing deals and helping clients, and hey, can somebody show this guy a house real fast? But I'll write it up, right? I mean, I think that's
so cool.
That to me is where I just, you know, I mean, we've been talking about teams since 2014.
It's a good life.
It is. It is providing, I think, the smart agent with that opportunity.
Yes.
My agent sold the most amount of homes he's ever sold. He's been an agent for 4 years.
Yeah.
All 4 years on my team. The most homes he ever sold was 2 months while in Australia.
You're like,
that's why a team matters.
Why'd you come back?
Yeah. He
Run
sold,
that
I think,
Facebook ad.
Yeah. And I mean, he sold, I think, 20 houses in 2 months while in Australia.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
But again, this goes back to, we've been talking about this, you know, since like the first early days of Team Plus. The system will produce what a system will produce, nothing more, nothing less, right?
Yeah.
Don't, like, it's the system.
Yeah.
Put the right plays in place and people can perform well.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. Up market, down market.
Right.
It's great.
Okay. Closing thoughts as we wrap this up. What do you want to share with the world about teams, the future? Where's it all going? Wish them well. How do they reach you if they want to connect with you? You're going to hit me later for the R. That's still bugging me.
No.
And poor Steve, I'm like,
Pattison, tell us.
Yes.
Tell us more.
Yes, Pattison, tell us more.
My spouse thought my last name was Pattinson, like I was married to Robert, or like,
the new Batman.
Twilight.
Yes.
Yeah, Twilight.
There we go.
He's Batman now.
Right.
He's Twilight forever.
I know, but it's Pattison.
Yes.
Porchlight Realty in San Diego. Final thoughts are, I mean, if you're feeling that this is like way beyond your scope, it's not. I mean, we met 4 or 5 years ago at a mastermind where we felt out of place. I just posted about it the other day. I was like, I cannot believe we were in that room and we were like selling 70 something homes a year.
I know, we're like, why are we here?
Yeah, why are we here? If you're not in a room where you don't feel like you're out of place, then you're in the wrong room. So
That's right.
Always surround yourself with better people. And if the people aren't willing to help you, then you're surrounded by wrong people. We constantly want to provide and help. So reach out if you have questions. I'm more than happy to help. Hire a freaking coach if you're not in coaching. Yes. Call this guy Tom. He's pretty cool.
He'll say your name wrong.
All this.
Yeah.
He has a text number. You can text him.
Yes, you can text me. Yes.
Yes. He, but follow through and just make sure it's not going to happen overnight.
No.
Yeah. And
that's the journey that the three of you have been on. It's just been extraordinary to watch. So closing thoughts.
I don't know. What were your thoughts?
my thoughts are like, if you're in the business, if you're a single agent out there right now and you're struggling, don't be scared to talk to the largest team in your market, because they're probably doing it right. And hire a coach. A lot of us that have mega teams have always had coaches.
Yeah.
Not only that, if you're a team leader out there and you're struggling, you can you can always reach out to us on, DJ and Lindsey on Instagram, Facebook. We're always out there. We're always trying to give value. We do a lot of value ads on our, Instagram, Facebook,
social channels,
like social channels to, for team leaders and different things, different people out there. But
because it's a small posse of people that really want to do well. So, you want to be friends with everybody.
Yeah.
It's just smart.
And just know that, if it does get harder, it'll feel like the walls come in quicker. So don't be afraid to reach out to somebody in your market quicker than sooner than later.
Kind of when you guys are talking about like hiring a coach, like sometimes when you are on a team or mentored by a team, whatever it is, like it's okay to hire a coach, right? I mean, wealthy people, right? Once they make all their millions, that's like one of the first things they all go out and hire, right? A health coach, mental coach, like all of these
coach, life coach,
right,
spiritual
business coach. They hire all these coaches, and it's like, when you have that opportunity right now, when you're starting your real estate career, whatever it is, you can go out and hire a coach, hire a mentor for free. Like go and work for them, right? Like take all that knowledge. Like you have that capability to do it. So don't wait, don't wait until things are like really hard.
That's why people get golf lessons. That's why people get surf lessons. And those golf lessons helped yesterday, didn't they?
And so sometimes the team, right? Like that accountability of a team.
All right. Thank you guys so much for being on the show today. I really appreciate it. Make sure you give us a like, a subscribe, make some comments. Let us know. And obviously reach out to these guys because they're all willing to help. They're all willing to answer questions and make an impact because someone did that for them and some still continue to reach. Hey, Mark, you might want to think about this. Hit Tom Ferry the next time he says your name wrong. Just saying. All right, guys. Hey, thank you so much for watching. We love you always, and we'll see you on the next show.
Thank you.